Well, hello, my friends. Today we're going to discuss emotional manipulation. Manipulation, the eye of Sauron. The devious forces that manipulate emotions in a non-alchemic way. In fact, in a reverse alchemic way, they take your emotions and they turn it to shit. I laugh about this stuff, fellas and ladies, because I diffuse energy with humor quite often. So if I seem to be laughing inappropriately at places, that's just the way that I roll. And a lot of that comes from my days as a nurse, where we used to laugh at even the most serious things, including death, folks. So it's part of the way. But today I am going to discuss with you emotional manipulation, what it means, how it works, how it happens, and more importantly, what you can do about it. What you can do. I'm going to give you a toolkit. I'm going to give you an awareness. I'm going to wake you up. I'm going to wake you up with the tools, the dark arts of emotional manipulation. And the reason that I'm qualified to talk about the dark arts of emotional manipulation is because they've been used against me on numerous occasions. And I've had to find out through the school of hard knocks that what they are and how to deal with it. And luckily, through numerous ways that didn't work, I finally found methods that do. But that comes with age, folks. As we slow down, we get a little bit sharper as our skin grows thicker through our life experience. So, you young folks out there, you can learn. You can learn from these aging people who are a bit bruised and battered through life experience, should you choose to, of course, because there's no substitute for learning the hard way. You'll learn the hard way, but it's the hard way. That's the thing about the hard way. It's hard, folks. It's better to learn the easy way. And that's for someone to wake you up so that you can see this stuff coming. So the thing about emotional manipulation is it comes in a guise that's so difficult to see at first. So great manipulators. And when we look at emotional manipulation, we're usually back to narcissism 101. Certainly psychopaths, narcissists, very good at manipulating emotions. And the reason that they're so good at it is things that they use on you, like guilt trips. They don't work on them because they have no empathy. It doesn't work, folks. It doesn't work. The only time that type of trick will work on these personalities is when there's a crowd and they realize their PR is being damaged. Oh no, my big reveal. Someone's calling out my behavior. Bad enough one person knowing, let alone a whole load of other people. But I'm going off on a tangent here. So let's talk about emotional manipulation. You know what it feels like, folks, especially if you're watching this, you'll know how you've been manipulated emotionally. So the symptoms, the symptoms are usually along the lines, and this is right back to people that are regulars on this channel will know these. I'm just drawing on different content from other videos with a different title, because this could just as easily be one of my videos on how to deal with narcissism, because emotional manipulation is their weapon. It is their weapon, folks. Preferred weapon. In the Colosseum, when they line up the weapons, which one would you like? A narcissist is always taking emotional manipulation because they'll do that to people so they won't be able to fight at the end of it once they've finished a few rounds with them because they're good at it. And the reason that they're good at it is because they have no emotion, folks. So let's start there. Let's start there. Let's look at what you're up against. So just imagine a fight to the death, but you're there with a tin man that doesn't have a heart, doesn't, you can't kill him. It's immortal. It's immortal. You can't win. Even if you fatal blow, there's no heart there. You can't kill the tin man, folks. And it's the same if you're going up against a narcissist or a psychopath. That the currency that they're using, that they're trading, they know all of your weak spots. And in personal development, it's really important to highlight that your biggest strength is also your biggest weakness. This is always the case, folks. Now, in the case of the empath, which is quite possibly you if you're watching this video, because it's generally healers, empaths that will be attracted to this content. But you're probably wondering, how is it possible that you're so nice and you're with an arsehole? That's ultimately what it comes down to. And the emotional manipulators, they're good at what they do because they've got this beautiful balance, but they go into their default mechanism, which is cutting you down, criticizing, telling you you're wrong, blaming you for their bad behavior, all of the things that make you feel like shit. That's emotional manipulation. You know it's emotional because you can feel it. You feel like shit at the end of it. And then when you hit the rock bottom and you think, oh, that's it, I've had enough, then suddenly they'll flip. And then you'll see the false side, which you think is the real side, but it's actually the false side. Apologizes, really sorry about that, caught me on a bad day, won't happen again. You know those symptoms, folks. Now, if you're like me, you learn to identify these signs early in any relationship so you can see it coming. And my gift and curse is the ability to take a situation and instantly catapult forward a few years, which means that my relationships, when I have been in them, they happen really quick. Get 7 years in 7 weeks, folks, in a relationship with me, because it just fast tracks. We go through complete love and then we suddenly see the flaws, where it's all leading. All of that's exacerbated, and then suddenly, bang, crash, it's over. Now, some will call that superpower skill, some will call that roadkill. Some will call that emotionally bankrupts themselves. Some will call it bad choice of partners, folks. Bad choice of partners. Now, in the past, I was destined to pick these partners because I hadn't woken up to the universal truth. Universal truth. What's the universal truth, Adam? Well, we have to explore the darker side of our personality. And for an empath, a healer, a light worker, you will attract narcissistic personalities, psychopaths into your world, people that traumatize you, emotional bullies, because they are there. You're attracting them in your life to bring out your darker aspects, to grow as a person. In the short version, to grow a backbone, folks, to grow a backbone. So to bring people in your world that give you so much pain that you'll either commit suicide or you'll start standing up for yourself. That's how it works. This has to happen, folks. So let's look at this. I'm not here to point the finger at these manipulators, these bullies, these narcissists, these psychopaths. They are just as important part of the cog as a person that loves us forever. The person that loves you forever unconditionally is one piece of the jigsaw. And to see them as good and the narcissist as bad is setting yourself up for pain anyway. Because yes, the narcissistic behavior is bad. Emotional manipulation, it could be considered a terrible thing to do. And some people are dark with it. But the bottom line is, folks, we have to wake up. We have to wake up. And the only way that we do that is by attracting increasingly dark forces, dark personalities into our world until we step up, until we acknowledge the darker aspect of our personality, and until we grow a backbone. That's what it's about, folks. That's where it's at. So we have to go through these poor choices, these poor relationship choices. The only difference is that some people get stuck for longer than others because it's like a web. It's like a spider's web. A spider will catch you and tie you up. They might not be ready to eat you today. They might just want to toy with you for a bit and have you absolutely caught in the web. This is what happens to empaths when they get with the narcissists, get caught in the web. Your confidence, they chip away at your confidence. So you start to believe that there's nothing better for you outside of this. Well, let me tell you this, folks, even living with a friend who's been through the same thing at the end of that is infinitely better than being caught in a terrible relationship with somebody that's constantly bringing you down. And sometimes owning your power is a lonely journey. You have to get comfortable with yourself. You have to start loving yourself enough to be comfortable on your own. And when you're comfortable on your own, then you'll attract somebody that matches that energy that probably won't try and manipulate you because you've already learned the lesson. So there you go, folks. We've got to go through this. It's a necessary part of the journey. necessary part of the journey. Now, some people are lucky enough to get a life partner where you can grow and evolve this together. That you're not necessarily with a narcissist, but you'll play polar opposite personalities. One minute, one person's the bully, the next minute, the other one is. So you can help evolve each other as you grow. But unfortunately, the stats tell us that not many people get married young and stay together for the rest of their lives. The happy ever after myth is just that, folks. It's a myth for most people. It's an unrealistic, unsustainable um, pathway for most people that will never happen. It will never happen. It can be very painful, especially when the separation comes and there's kids and houses involved and solicitors. And that's why it's a good thing to be a solicitor, because when people fall out, they will spend whatever it takes to get that bastard to pay for what they did. And that always happens when we refuse to take ownership of our own part of a relationship. It doesn't matter how bad, how abusive, how terrible some of the behavior is, that people cannot abuse you without your permission. That's why solicitors do well. No one wants to take the ownership. Very few people want to say, yes, well, maybe I contributed to that. Yes, I'm at least 50% guilty for all of the things that happened there. Yes, maybe I let them get away with it for too long. Yes, maybe I turned a blind eye too often. Yes, maybe I made excuses for inexcusable behavior too many times. And all of these things most empaths are guilty of. And let me tell you a pattern that I've noticed with empaths where they're particularly guilty at times. And that is having an abusive parent and then not wanting to be an abusive parent, but then letting the child walk all over you and turning them into an asshole somewhere down the line because there's no restraint. There's no restraint to what they can get away with. They've learned that being an asshole gets you exactly what you want. So there's infinite different complex issues that stem both sides out of this coin, folks. And the reason for this video isn't to turn you into a victim and it isn't to turn you into a bully. It's to understand that everything that happens to you in your world, you have attracted. And by learning to identify emotional manipulation, by learning to say no, by learning to walk out if you need to. That is the goal. That's the goal, folks. So if you catch somebody and you can feel that they're manipulating you emotionally, the best thing that you can do is just switch it. Don't believe them. It only works so well is because we believe it. That is the issue here, folks. People can't bully you without your permission. And if you believe what they're saying, that's where their power comes from. It's not through them doing it. You can do the same thing to two completely separate people and get two very separate results. It's only if you believe what they are saying that it has the power. And you give that key away or not. So hopefully this video will wake you up to this dynamic. It will stop you being a victim. It will stop you from feeling that you can't do anything about it. And by changing the energy around it, you can become a superhero, super shield. You can protect yourself from this nonsense. You can step up above it. And not only that, when you start cutting off the energy of those that you don't like and saying no, you'll attract better people into your world. And there's plenty of videos on this channel to show you how to do this. This video in and of itself is just one piece of the jigsaw, folks. Now, if you want the rest of the pieces of the jigsaw, that I would suggest that you explore this channel or you like and subscribe so you get more of my content. And you can do that right there. You can get another video there if you want to see that. But either way, show this video a bit of love, folks, and I will show you how to recognize and to offset any emotional manipulation and to become a superhero.